Hello, welcome to another episode of Talking Rangers. Today is Tuesday, December 10th. This is episode 48 of the Talking Rangers podcast. Make sure to please like and subscribe. We appreciate all of your support. As always, it's another week, another episode, another painful week for the New York Rangers as they drop to the Kraken at home, lose an awful game last night to the Blackhawks at home, 2-1. We talked after that Devils game. Of course, they got smoked. They did beat the Penguins, and a lot has happened in between that. Traded Jacob Trouba, extended Igor Shesterkin. So a lot going on. Unfortunately, none of it is really success. None of it really is necessarily good. So Joe, how's it going? We got a lot to get into, but what are your thoughts?
Ton of stuff happened since
Yeah.
since the last episode, but I don't know. I feel like a broken record. It's the same thing. I mean, we're kind of talking before. It's not even like fun talking about the team anymore. I mean, they've completely like sucked all the hope out of the Ranger fans. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they show no effort from GM down to the players. It's all bad. It's all bad, and I don't know what to say. You have anything?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. I mean, yeah, they're just, you kind of said it pretty good there. From top down, they're bad. That's, I guess, the best way to describe it. Oftentimes we talk about how bad they are in the ice, but I don't think they're probably not a very well coached team. I mean, they're obviously not good enough, well coached enough. Probably a lack of accountability from the coaching staff. Part of that, I think, is any coach that comes in here, if they say anything, if they try to hold players accountable, this group of players, this core is so soft that it kind of gets, it annoys them in a way, like it gets in their head. So there's not much that, Lavalette can do. There's not much that this coaching staff can do from accountability perspective, because if they try and hold players accountable, they're going to lose the locker room because they're just a bunch of soft hockey players, a bunch of guys that are very sensitive. And then, yeah, general manager wise, I mean, while the Trouba trade was the right thing, something that had to be done, and I said it when I did the YouTube short right after the trade, you can't send the trade memo out and not do anything. So at least he did something about it. Now, there is still the whole Kreider aspect to that, whether or not they trade Kreider. But yeah, there's blame to go around. General manager, this deal, this Trouba trade, which we could start with because that is new, not something that we have talked about yet. We've talked about everything else, but the Trouba trade, of course, being new since the last time we recorded, should have been something that was done in the offseason, as we just talked about, off air. I think most Rangers fans would agree. They had felt like the whole Red Wings deal in place. It was going to happen. And then Trouba, as he said, when he was basically bashing the Rangers, said how he chose family over hockey, decided to stay with the Rangers, and basically said how this entire year's kind of been weird. He didn't like how they handled the situation. But they finally get rid of him. It was something that's been, where there's smoke, there's fire. It's been brewing for a while. We all knew this would be his last season. If he wasn't going to get traded, it was going to be it for him anyway. But they move on. They don't retain any of his salary, so that was a positive. Their cap space jumped. They were up to like $8.5 million. Now I think they're like 7.1 ish. And they got Urho Vakanainen in a 2025 fourth round pick. Doesn't really matter what they got in return. It's more so you kind of got rid of dead weight. You got rid of a really bad contract, and you got rid of a player that wasn't very good. And really, frankly, a guy that the whole relationship between him and the team was fractured. So that aspect of it as well. You just got rid of a broken player. So I guess, what was your thoughts there? Because, yeah, this team's a mess from the top down. Coaching, general manager, players, locker room, anywhere you point, they're not a good hockey team, and there's no signs of it getting really any better with this core that's pretty rotten.
I mean, obviously, it was the right move, regardless of how you felt about when it happened. I mean, that's a problem, like you mentioned, Jury, huge mistake not moving him in the offseason. I mean, you caused such a big problem with the team, with your captain. I mean, again, he's like, if you look at his interviews, at his play on the ice, he's checked out. He didn't want to be here. He knew that they were going to get rid of him, and he just didn't care, which really horrible move by Drury. Terrible move. He should have sent him to Anaheim or Detroit, wherever you want to, in the offseason. He didn't. he let it go with what 25 games into the season. That's on him. It was nice though that they were able to get a fourth round pick, get how do you say the last name? Vakanainen.
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 I had to
Okay.
look up Urho Vakanainen on YouTube, and I found one highlight, and that's how I learned his name. Because when
Yeah,
I
I
saw it
mean,
come across the screen, I had
he's
no clue.
he was just kind of like a throw in on the deal.
Yeah,
That he's going to be nothing with this
he's
team.
like a
So
Chad Ruedel.
yeah, you just get the salary off. I think that was just the
Yeah,
biggest plus. And you also get a fourth round pick, which is nice. But at the end of the day, this should have been done a while ago. He was pretty much hurting this locker room being here. Huge mistake to not get rid of him in the offseason. Jory made a terrible mistake there, but it's nice that he's gone. I think it was a great trade for what it's worth. But at the same time, it just really affected the team. I think keeping him, knowing he was going to get traded, and granted, like I said, they got the $8 million or whatever he's making available this year for the rest of the season for next year. But I don't know, this team just it sucks, and it's nice to see him finally off the books. He's not a cone anymore in the playoffs.
Yep.
We don't have to see him take dumb penalties anymore. I mean, it's nice to see him go. He was someone that was brought here to be kind of like a culture changing player for this rebuild. He did some good stuff here, some of those big hits. Maybe he was a good leader in the locker room. Who knows? But it just seemed like his time here was done, and it was overextended for no reason, which, again, like I said, I keep saying, hurt the team. He's gone. Then the Rangers captain traded. That's 3 in a row now.
All they had to do was just trade him to Florida, and it would have been perfect, but it wasn't the case. Either Tampa or Panthers. But Tampa to be perfect, but
yeah. But I don't know. It's just Drury's done a horrible job, I think, kind of containing this core, and he puts out that memo like we're going to start trading people. Waited for it. Eventually, he did do it because he had to, because the team didn't respond from playing bad. But I think that's more so of a Kreider thing, where that was more for him, like, hey, you got to start playing better. Where Trouba, it was kind of a foregone conclusion that they were going to trade him. So
yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, he's gone, Trouba, and hopefully that kind of helps this rebuild a little or retool, whatever you want to do. But it definitely, it's a good thing he's gone, but they waited too long.
So. Yeah. Oh yeah, it feels like they waited too long on this whole core. Now they're trying to shake it all up mid-season, which is stupid, and that falls in the plate of Drury. You give Drury credit for getting it done, but it should have been something that was done in July, August, when all these rumors were happening. And yeah, he checked out. He basically bashed the organization in a way without
that video was crazy.
Yeah,
without. Did you see the one where he was saying like, if we're gonna scratch you, or we're gonna scratch you and then waive you if you don't accept the trade. They were gonna do they were gonna do a Barkley Goodrow probably, where the Ducks were gonna claim him.
Yeah.
If they waived him. So it's nice that they got
something back for him.
Something back for him, right?
Yeah. And that's where you do give credit to Drury for basically forcing
he could have held ground and be like, all right, waive me. I'll go and you guys will get nothing.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the full what would happen if he did that as far as contract. Maybe he loses some money if he gets waived, or he loses protection.
And then he said something else like the right of MSG or Madison, something like that. Did you hear that?
Something about
like rite of passage to get fired at MSG.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, like everybody's getting fired. I don't know. You get fired from MSG or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure. Look, there's two sides to every story, but if he would have just accepted the deal in the offseason and never put his whole, and he said family all the time, but he's no special than any other athlete. It's a business. Yeah. It's a tough business. If he would have just manned up, been a big boy, and would have said, I'll go to Detroit, I'm okay with that, then none of this would have been happening. And that's where I kind of give credit to the Rangers. It's like, look, Detroit's not that far from New York. It's like you wanna play around. You
hour and a half flight, not bad.
Yeah, you wanna not do this in the off season. You wanna have this, not kind of basically let this. Look, I understand when it all became public, but whatever the case may be, then we're going to ship you all the way out west and we're going to make it a whole lot harder for you. So that part, it's like, that's kind of what you get. But yeah, I mean, he was, 5.5 years here. He did some good. I never really loved when he was named captain. Personally, I didn't think it was, I'm not sitting here and saying they should have picked somebody else, but I don't know. He was all right. I mean, he's not a very good defenseman anymore. He's, he made some big hits. That was about it. Provides nothing offensively, which isn't really a bad thing, but he was okay. Provided some leadership, and that was about it. The ending was very ugly, and now he goes to Anaheim. And Anaheim was a team that could take on the salary, so they were one of the only teams out there that could fully take it on. So kind of makes sense there between, where Drury was coming from. I guess we can move on to Igor, the whole Igor extension, because this is interesting. You go from the Trouba trade, which I think most fans agreed with. I don't think it was like exciting because there's more than that needs to be happening than just Jacob Trouba being traded. But it was something where kind of a sigh of relief. Like you kind of got this dead weight or this cloud that's been over you now for a couple of months off your team. Then you go and extend Igor, which is highly, highly debated amongst the fan base. 8 years, $11.5 million, highest paid goaltender, $92 million total. Look, we all love Igor, but how much is this team, especially where they're at now, seeing this core, seeing the way this season has panned out, how far are they really ever going to be able to go with Igor making this much, especially now where you see this team's going to need to make a major shakeup now or in the offseason. So what was your thoughts on the whole Igor contract? Because, look, it's well-deserved, it's well-earned, but for the Rangers, was it necessarily smart? That could certainly be debated with this team needing more than just a goaltender.
I don't know. I feel like I've been pretty consistent with my take on it. I don't think they should have paid him. I think, 10.5 still going to set the market. I mean, I think, I don't know what Price is still making, even though he's not in the NHL. I think he's still a highest paid goalie, but $3 million more than guys like Soros and Sorokin and I don't agree with. I think it was definitely an overpay. I mean, it's not $13 million that maybe some reported that he wanted, but I don't know, it's too much money for a goalie, especially in actuality, we're gonna go into a rebuild. So if you don't think that, then you're just denying, you're in denial. But I don't know, it doesn't really make much sense to pay a goalie when your team's bad and you're going to start trading off veterans and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess it had to be done. At the end of the day, did I really think they were going to get rid of him? Probably not. But it's a lot of money for a team that's really bad. It doesn't make sense to pay a goalie, but the Rangers always do that, and hasn't benefited them. They look what happened with Lundqvist.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, it's 8 years, no move, right?
Yeah. 11.5 AAV, 92.
That's going to be a tough.
Overall.
That's going to be a tough contract when it goes later into his career. You just got to hope he ages like fine wine. But I mean, goalie, they're hot and cold. They fall off. So who knows? Maybe he starts playing bad. I mean, granted though, the game that he's played since that contract, he's been pretty good, right?
Yeah. He's getting better since the contract. That doesn't usually happen.
He was okay against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Would he give 2 goals against Pittsburgh or 3?
Mm-hmm.
2, I think, right? They won 4-2.
Yeah.
And gave up 2 goals against the Blackhawks. So, 2 goals a game, that's fine. That's pretty good. So if he can continue to give up between, 0 to 3 goals a game, being that 2.5 around goals against average, I think that'd be good. He's going to have to perform elite. And if this team ever gets back to the playoffs, he's going to have to continue that to kind of earn his contract. But he's going to have to win the Stanley Cup. He's going to have to win, right? Yeah. For the contract to be good. So.
Oh, yeah, 100%. He's going to have to perform elite if this team even wants to just get to the playoffs.
That's true.
Even if he performs elite, they might not even
you're right. They still might miss. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, they have bigger concerns, but I can just see this contract in a couple of years turning to be horrible. But
Yeah, the only problem, and I kind of get that, and it's nothing against Igor. Like, he's a great goaltender. It's just the state of the Rangers and the history of the Rangers too. We saw this with Lundqvist, how it ended up panning out. It was always him standing on his head, and they can never ultimately get it done. Obviously, never translated to a cup, even though they got close multiple times. They've already been close twice. They've been 2 wins away, and they haven't been able to get there with Igor. But like the roadmap now of this Rangers team is, if they do decide to really tear it down and rebuild, you're talking about maybe the first 3 years of this extension being what, rebuilding years, right?
yeah,
About, because that, I would say that was about what, the rebuild going into this core, like, and then what, you're gonna, year 4, year 5 of the deal is probably gonna be your best chance, maybe, if that's the route they decide to go. And then what is he gonna be in year 4, year 5, year 6 of this deal? At
mid
that point
30,
he'll be
yeah.
mid 30s. So yeah, there's that question of the whole contract and lining up with the Rangers' future and their vision of rebuild for the next 3 seasons or 2 to 3 seasons, kind of get better each year, and then you kind of have your 2021, 2022 season again, where you maybe that's like 3 years from now. You get to the conference finals. Who knows what happens, but that's kind of like the start of it. I mean, he'd be 30, 31 at that point. So what are you going to get? I mean, he's already been in the league now for 6 years. So he's a great goaltender, but we've seen this now before. How much will this ever result in the Stanley Cup, or will it always be he stands on his head and they just don't have enough around him in the playoffs? So I think we're all just so down in this team right now. Unless if there's major trades, there's not much that I don't think can get you really excited.
I'd be okay. I would be okay if they completely tore it down, though. If they got rid of
Yeah.
everyone, kept a bunch of the young guys, just to watch like a young, fun team with like no big expectations and just rebuild. I think that's what they got to do.
Now, I guess just talking about this team now, moving on from Igor, moving on from the whole Trouba trade, what do you think happens next?
As far as like
what
front
prediction
office
wise?
moves or like
No,
record
just like what happens next in terms of a move? Is it a firing? Is it a trade? Does nothing happen over the next couple weeks? Does something happen by the time we record again? What happens now? Like, does something, if they go into Buffalo tomorrow and lose to the Sabres, a team who sucks right now, hasn't won a game since they beat their last 2 wins have come against the Ducks and the Sharks. Now, the Rangers didn't beat the Ducks yesterday, so or not the Ducks.
Blackhawks.
It was the Blackhawks. They played the Blackhawks. What am I thinking about? But either way, well, they barely beat the Ducks, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I do remember that game. We thought it'd been a nice, easy game. They had to grind
I got the Ducks in my mind with the whole Trouba trade
with the Ryan Lindgren goal.
Yeah. So those are the last 2 wins, and then it was a 1-0 shutout against the Kings. So their last game, they actually beat a team that was above the NHL 500 is the Kings. They beat them 1-0. That came on November 20th. So you lose tomorrow. Does Coach Peter get fired before they play the Kings at home on Saturday? Does that spark Drury and say, we just lost a stretch of games against the Kraken, the Blackhawks, and the Sabres? You think,
He's gone.
like,
he's
what's
gone.
your prediction there?
I think he's gone before. I said this last episode. He's gone before the new year, 100%.
So you think it's like tomorrow? If they lose tomorrow, you think that's it?
They're gonna keep. There's gonna be a bunch of scapegoats. First one was Trouba. I mean, granted, he sucks, so it's not really a scapegoat. I mean, it's not really a scapegoat if he deserved it, though. But they'll start the scapegoat with the Rangers as they fire the coach, David Quinn. I didn't really like that much. That's fine, but Gallant,
he was here to really develop, though.
I didn't like Gallant either, but again, more
yeah.
so of a scapegoat, and then Laviolette's going to be scapegoat, 100%. He'll be.
For being fair, Gallant was the only one to actually kind of publicly come out and hold these core accountable, and he got fired. I'm not saying this team would be winning right now with Gallant. He definitely lost the locker room, and the way they collapsed against the Devils, it needed to be done. They needed to change, but I mean, At least he tried. But yeah, you
Yeah,
make a point.
I mean,
But how many more times are they going to scapegoat? Because
well,
technically Gallant was a scapegoat.
this will be the last one because the core's done after this year.
I don't get the. I
But
just don't get
so they'll fire
the
him.
love for this group of players. I
They'll
will never
fire him,
understand
and
it.
then Lindgren will be gone. They're going to trade Lindgren. I mean, I'm not the GM, so they won't do a lot of stuff that we want. But I assume they're going to hold on to Miller. They're going to hold on to most of these guys. I mean, that they should trade. They maybe trade Kreider. That would be like the Trouba thing everybody wanted, and I think that everybody
Yeah.
saw. I think the Kreider thing would be sends shockwaves to the organization. That would be like the
Yeah.
Trouba move. I don't think it's so big just because he's
And
bad and he's
Kreider's a guy
replaceable.
who will have his name up in the rafters one day.
Yeah,
Like that will, Trouba was, yeah, he was the captain, but I mean, history tells us that it doesn't matter if you're a Rangers captain in terms of getting traded. That doesn't mean anything. So if anything, it means you're gonna get traded. But no, it would send shockwaves through the
yeah.
team and through the fan base. Frankly, I mean, this is a guy that's been here for a decade plus.
No, I
If you
think
trade
that
Kreider,
I think
that's what they need, though. They need a major shakeup, and they should have did it in the offseason, but who cares? That's revisionist history. They need a major shakeup, so it would be dealing Kreider probably next. I mean, those were the two guys in the Drury trade memo that they were kind
I
of
mean,
shopping
yeah,
around. It was Trouba Kreider. So you think Brady Kachuk happens?
no, no, I don't see it.
Soft
They're not going to
gambling.
trade him. As much as I
Yeah.
think he'd be like an ideal person for this team, like an ideal player of how he plays, I don't see it. And like I said,
We're being
they got to get rid of
if we're being fair,
Miller.
one player's not going to change anything. Brady Kachuk's not going to come in here and turn this team around.
They got
I
to
would
get rid
love
of
the move, but it
in
would
in an ideal in like a perfect world, you get rid of obviously like players like the Banachad, but
yeah.
I don't even want to talk about him. He's terrible. He sucks. I mean, he's so bad. I mean, if you look at the play last night, like Sean Avery did like a breakdown of it where on the Bertuzzi goal, he gets in, doesn't really skate hard to the puck, then he thinks he's going to get hit, throws the puck away right to Bertuzzi, and I don't know who it was, but the guy hit Bertuzzi backdoor. I mean, he's scared to get hit. He's soft, and he's so bad. He can't score. He doesn't do anything. They're paying him $8.5 million for the next like 4 or 5, maybe 5, 6 years. Maybe 7 years. I don't know. He's still on this team for maybe like 7 years still. Terrible contract. He's terrible. They got to get rid of him, but they can't because of the contract. But that's like a perfect world move. I mean, like I would definitely say Lindgren's gone, but they should get rid of Miller. Miller can be traded and should be
Yeah.
traded. He's so bad. I mean,
Yeah, I mean Mika and Miller were the reasons they lost last night.
they're just so bad. They
Yeah.
gotta move off these players before it's too late.
Yeah.
And realistically, they won't because it's the Rangers. But I don't know. I don't even really have anything to say anymore. It's just that they're so bad. No accountability. That's why that's why I think and want the coach to be fired because like I just
So you would
What's the
want
record?
Peter to be
Yeah,
fired.
yeah, because he doesn't hold anybody accountable. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to
But
start
do you think
scratching.
like Dan Moose or somebody, whoever the heck took over, would? Unless if they hire
No, you're gonna
somebody
bring
from
in a new
outside,
guy.
but
You'll bring in someone else.
yeah, but like if they just for the rest of the
They're not gonna
season.
hire within. They wouldn't do that. They're not gonna do that. They
So
won't
who
do
would you
that.
but bring in like after you fired?
I don't know.
Do you
I
have
really
anybody
don't
or
know. I mean, I want to bring in someone that's going to hold the guys accountable. I mean, Zibanejad should not just be benched. He should be scratched. He should be sitting in the press box.
yeah, with Kreider?
Miller should be benched for his bad plays. I mean, he doesn't do anything, and he constantly gives these guys ice time. He keeps throwing Zibanejad on the power play. What the fuck is he doing on the power play? Seriously, what is he doing on the power play? Nothing. He doesn't. The one timer doesn't hit the net anymore. He doesn't do anything on
Yeah.
the power play. Kreider is a banjo. These guys are taking away ice time from guys that should be playing more. That's another thing I don't like is that guys like Cooley, guys like Kako, a friend here hasn't been great actually, but I mean, hopefully he plays a little bit better. But like that third line, like those three guys, did they deserve more playing time? And they're getting like, sat in the third period. Like Will Cooley's the best player in this team right now, and he's not getting ice time over guys like Zibanejad and Kreider is insane. That alone should get him fired. But
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
I would be on board with it. I mean, they anything at this point.
They also got to blow up the power play. The power play sucks. I know they scored a couple of goals against the like really shitty Canadians. They got like what they get one against the Kraken, but like it sucks. They don't move the puck well. They don't have an identity anymore. They try forcing it to Kreider. They try the stupid one timer that he never gets off. Zibanejad doesn't know what he's doing on it. The only person that deserves to play power play right now is Panarin. Everybody else, they should take off the power play. They should give power play one time to Kako, to Lafreniere, who hasn't been playing well, but I'd rather have him getting the ice time than Kako or than Kreider and Zibanejad. Cooley should be on the power play. Hedl should be on the power play. Get the young guys more ice time. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. They should also. I don't even go. I know they've been good, but I take Zibanejad and Kreider off the penalty kill. They should not be getting this ice time. They can't do much worse. The guys behind them. It's ridiculous. That's why. That was just saying. That's why I want Lavalek on. No accountability, and he's not playing the young guys who are playing well actually, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I could. I don't think it would happen, but at anything this point, I could. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with it. I would be on board with it. But they just, to me, it's just the players, more than anything. Until they get this soft group of players out of here, it's never gonna change. Which unfortunately, probably have to wait until the off season for that. I mean, you think Kreider gets dealt this year?
Probably not. I don't think so. I wouldn't care,
You think it's
honestly.
just
I was more so on the point of the side of I don't want to see him go. At this point, I don't care. They could trade anyone. I would be a little upset. I'd be very upset to trade like a guy like Cooley because I think he could be a guy to build around. But for the most part, I don't care who they trade. If they traded Fox, I wouldn't care either.
Yeah. They traded Miller. They've got that would
Good.
be
I would be happy if they traded Miller. I just think nobody should be safe. I mean, the only people that can't, like I said this, they can't trade Zibanejad because no one's going to take him. So, I don't know.
Rangers hockey. This is the Rangers. It's just the way it is. Any other thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, this team is bad. Keep losing to these bad teams. I mean, the Devils game was a joke. I mean, they just completely dominated us.
Yeah.
Had no chance in that
And
game.
last night was a joke. I think last night was more of a joke than the Devils because the Devils are at least good.
Yeah, the Blackhawks. I'm glad they were getting booed. They got to boo them the whole game.
Oh, I agree.
They got to boo them the whole. I think their next game after this is Saturday.
Yeah, the Kings.
After tomorrow, they should boo like a puck drop. They should get booed the whole game, the whole entire game. They should boo, or no one should show up. Which obviously that's not going to happen.
No, that won't happen.
They should get booed the whole game. I mean, this team's a joke. They're a joke.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, they
got lucky at the beginning of the year, right, where the goaltending was great and it was covering all the the mistakes defensively, so the record looked good. People, people let it slide, and now when they're exposed, people are surprised. But the team's been playing bad the whole year. They had that decent start. They're like 9-3-1. Still, goalies, they were scoring a ton of goals, and the goalie play was really good. Defensively, this team sucks. Offensively, this team sucks. I can't really.
And I don't want to hear either the people out there that say, "Oh, this core every year goes through a tough stretch." That's stupid. Please shut up. And guess what happens every year? They lose in the playoffs.
And then also the people that, again, I mean, I'm harping on Miller because he sucks. But everybody's like, oh, you know what? He's pretty good. He's a good defenseman. Like when he plays with Fox, look at him. It's because Trouba's on the team. That's why he's bad. When he plays with Trouba, he's been worse since Trouba's left. Yeah. He's been horrible. Maybe it was Trouba who got screwed over having to play with Miller.
Yeah, they both suck.
I know. They do both suck, but I don't know. It's a bad team. It's a bad team.
Yeah. Should we get to some goal scoring picks?
Yeah, I'm kind of tired about talking about the Rangers. So this team is torture. But yeah, we can do that.
All right. Sabres. Who you got? You want to start? I start.
Oh, I guess I could start. I don't know. I mean, God, this team's so bad. Oh, I go like I'll go Capo Caco. I don't know.
Kako. I'll go Panarin.
The bread man.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next game? Kings on Saturday?
Kings, yep. Kings and the Blues.
I'll go Will Cooley. Seems like the score versus the Kings.
Cooley against the Kings.
Yeah.
I'll go Kings. I'll go. Jeez, not many good options.
No, not many.
Give me Lafreniere against the Kings.
All right.
He hasn't scored in ages.
Yeah, when is the last time he scored?
I couldn't even tell you.
Dude, he got a lot of chances yesterday.
He did.
A ton of chances. It's like a repeat.
He'll probably score tomorrow. I feel like he always scores against Buffalo. First career goal was against Buffalo. I feel like on the road, I feel like he always scores. I think he scored in game 1 last year against the Sabres. So.
All right. I'll go.
But I'm picking him against the Kings. So I don't. The whole Sabres point don't make sense. But
we'll go Panarin. I'll go Panarin for the Blues.
Panarin for the Blues. The Blues. The Blues. Let's see. Jeez. Give me Heedle against the Blues. Take Heedle. I'm gonna protest like picking Kreider and those guys.
Yeah, I'm never picking Kreider and Zibanejad again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I was gonna pick Heedle for this one to go with the clean sweep of the
young guys.
The young guy line, the third line,
Kako, Cooley, Heedle,
or first line. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I was like, I feel like Panarin's been good this year, so I don't pick him a lot. So I figured, whatever, just pick.
I think all we need is just another couple line changes.
Yeah, we're almost there. I mean, like I said, I don't know if I said this on air, but we could try Carrick with Panarin. Yeah. That might work. Carrick and Panarin? I don't know. That might be electric. So wait, so who do you got scoring against the Sabres?
Panarin.
The bread man?
Panarin Sabres, Lafreniere Kings, Heedle Blues.
That sounds like 3 goals right there.
Panarin and Lafreniere are going to score in one of those 2 games. I just don't know. I feel like they might be reversed. I have a feeling Lafreniere is going to score tomorrow, but I'm just going to stick with my gut. So, go with Panarin.
That thing was so funny, though. You saw where it was like Zibanejad's like sensitive about what people say. Like,
yeah, too sensitive about what people say about him.
I just saw something about that. It's just so funny. I mean, it's
ridiculous.
NHL player could be sensitive.
He is so sensitive. He's so sensitive. Even in his stupid press conference after he was like, "Oh, Trouba, he's one of our guys. It's really tough." Like, dude, just shut up. I'm sick of Trouba too, and I'm sick of Kreider too. Always whispering after these games, like all depressed. Like, jeez.
Yeah, like dude, like you remember he was crying when they lost the Lightning.
Oh yeah, and remember him and Trouba or him and Mika? They had to console each other. Yeah,
they do the stupid ass hug.
Yeah,
maybe we can trade them off together.
That might be the only thing. Maybe Trouba would probably accept that. Hey, we said that last week. Send them both up in the press box.
They can hang out there together.
Yeah.
Let's see Johnny Brodzinski in the lineup.
Yeah. Just call up. Honestly, they might not even win it. If you put this team in Hartford right now, they wouldn't win.
They'd be last in the AHL.
Yeah. I'd rather watch everybody from the AHL just come up right now and play.
Delzio.
At least you know you're going to get maximum effort.
Anton Bled, Jake Lecision, Connor Mackey.
Just call them all up.
I'm hoping to give Berard a little bit more Berard a little bit more playing time.
Yeah.
I don't really like him on the 4th line. You know who should play on the 4th line? Mika. He should be on the fourth line.
It's a young guy. You know the Rangers are just going to bury him.
He'll be buried on the fourth line. Maybe if someone gets hurt, I'll go back to the third
Mika
line.
would just be better out of the lineup.
Yeah, he's too good for the Rangers, actually.
Yeah, he is. I think the Rangers should tell him that. Hey, Mika, you're too good. Let's trade you.
No, I thought you were talking about Berard. He's too good
Oh,
for the Rangers.
well,
Someone that gives effort and has speed,
Yeah.
forechecks. We don't
I'm
need
surprised
that.
Cooley's still there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're probably going to trade Cooley. They probably don't. He doesn't fit the. He doesn't fit the system of the Rangers. He plays too good. Forecheck's too hard. He's too He's way too physical, right? You agree? I mean, I want someone like Zibanejad.
Yeah.
Who's not physical.
No,
at all.
I don't like the physicality. It could cause injury.
It's scary. You've seen these
Very
guys
scary.
actually like when Cooley goes and gives it maximum effort and hits everything. It's a little concerning.
Yeah.
I like Zibanejad. He's more safe. He's a safe
more
player.
safe. Just understands player safety.
Yeah, he'll be the player safety commissioner after his career.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, quit in New York. That'll do it. Another episode of the books. We'll be back next week, probably talking about. They'll probably lose 2 of the next 3. They'll beat. I think they'll beat the Sabres. They'll probably lose to the Kings and the Blues. So we'll probably be talking about another week of just like mid hockey, not even, and maybe a firing. I don't know. I feel like if Coach Peter gets fired, we probably have to have an episode that day on it. Maybe a live stream, depending on when it happens. So
hopefully it happens in like a good hour.
Hopefully it doesn't happen at like.
Well, it probably will happen in the morning or something. I'd rather have it at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
It probably won't though.
Or like a pregame firing. Imagine they fire him tomorrow at like 6:45.
Fire him on the bench.
Fire him on the bench. You see like
he doesn't come out for the second period.
Bolin and Drury come down.
He doesn't come out for the second period.
Imagine that they go down to like John Gino.
He's questionable return.
Questionable return.
Job
management.
Yeah, job management. Questionable return.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Oh, man.
They should fire him. That'd be so funny. I mean, no coach would ever come here if they did that, though.
I mean, hey, Bills player a couple years ago retired at halftime, so I guess anything's possible.
We'll see.
Yep. So that'll do it. We'll talk to you guys next week.